In the northeastern part of the United States, on the southern tip of the state of New York, lies the New York City, the largest city in the United States by both population and economy. Situated at the mouth of the Hudson River, on one of the world's largest natural harbors, New York covers a total surface area of roughly 472 square miles. The city is divided into 5 boroughs, each functioning like a smaller city within the larger city. The 5 boroughs are Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, the Bronx, and Staten Island. In this video we will specifically talk about Manhattan, the smallest borough of New York City. Geographically, most of Manhattan is an island situated between the Hudson River to the west, New York Harbor to the south, and the East River to the east, with the Harlem River at its northern tip separating it from the Bronx. However, the borough of Manhattan includes not just the island itself but also smaller nearby islands, such as Roosevelt Island, Randalls and Ward's Island in the north, and Governor's Island, Liberty Island, and a small part of Ellis Island in the south. Additionally, Manhattan also extends to a small portion of the mainland New York State, known as Marble Hill. This part of Manhattan became geographically separated from the island due to the construction of the Harlem River Ship Canal in 1895. Manhattan is roughly 13.4 miles long and 2.3 miles wide at its widest point. It is smallest of the New York City boroughs by area, although it is the most densely populated. With a population of over 1.6 million people in an area of about 23 square miles, Manhattan is one of the most densely populated urban areas in the world, with a population density of roughly 75,000 per square mile. Manhattan is informally divided into 3 different sections, which is Lower Manhattan, Midtown, and Upper Manhattan. The southern part of Manhattan or downtown Manhattan is where the city first developed, when it was a Dutch settlement called New Amsterdam in the 1600s. As the city grew, it expanded northward. Much of Manhattan, north of Houston Street, is organized in a grid-like pattern, with numbered streets running east-west, and avenues running north-south, thus making navigation extremely simple. The avenues run north-south and are typically numbered from east to west, starting from 1st Avenue to 12th Avenue. The streets run east-west and are typically numbered from south to north, starting from 1st Street near Houston Street to 155th Street in Harlem. The grid system creates rectangular blocks. The distance between the avenues is typically longer than the distance between streets. The average distance between streets is roughly about 260 feet, while the distance between avenues is roughly 800 feet. As a result, traveling east-west takes more time compared to north-south. The grid system covers most of Manhattan, however there are few places or exceptions that don't follow the grid system, the most famous of which is Broadway. Unlike the numbered streets and avenues, Broadway predates the grid system. Originally an indigenous trail, Broadway runs from the southern tip of Manhattan to its northernmost reaches. As it crosses through the grid, Broadway creates unique intersections and landmarks like Union Square, Times Square, and Columbus Circle. The financial district or downtown Manhattan below Houston Street also doesn't follow the grid system as it was developed before the grid plan was laid out, and its streets are more irregular, with many narrow and winding paths that reflect the older, colonial city layout. Other exceptions to the grid are the Central Park stretching from 59th to 110th Street, and Alphabet City where instead of numbered avenues, single-letter names are used like A, B, C and D. Manhattan is often considered the economic powerhouse of not only New York City, but also the entire United States and even the world. Manhattan is home to Wall Street, the financial center of the United States, where major financial institutions like the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ are located. The borough also hosts the headquarters of major banks, investment firms, and multinational corporations. Manhattan's GDP is staggeringly high, rivaling entire countries. Its GDP is estimated to be over $800 billion, roughly twice the size of Pakistan. It contributes a substantial portion of the total GDP of New York City and the entire New York State. Manhattan's real estate market is one of the most expensive in the world. Areas like Midtown and downtown are densely packed with office buildings, luxury apartments, and retail spaces. Manhattan is also the primary driver of NYC's tourism industry, with world-famous attractions such as Times Square, Central Park, Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building and Broadway. The borough's retail sector is also among the most lucrative globally, with luxury brands and department stores concentrated on Fifth Avenue and Soho.